Hello, everyone. Today I am coming to you with a little bit of a book haul and what now has become my currently TBR. So, if you have any of these choices, I hope you give me your recommendations and what you think about it. So, let's get started. My first choice is Station 11 by Emily St. Joe Mandel, and I picked this book because I read last year Sea of Tranquility. I really liked it, really enjoyed it. These seem to follow not the same premise, but also the follow of a pandemic and what happens to humans and earth and all that kind of stuff, obviously following a group of individuals and all the secrets that entails in their journey to rediscovering themselves and what humanity it's meant to be and to do on earth. So, very interesting. Next one that I got is Never the Wind by Francesca Dimitri. And I got this book because it has a beautiful cover, and I was drawn to it because it looks beautiful. But also, this seems to be a coming of age story about a early teenage boy that it's either in the process of becoming blind or it is blind. His family moved to Italy, and in the process of the renovation of the premises, he befriends a girl, but then he ends up realizing that both families have conflicts, they don't like each other, so their friendship is kind of frowned upon. So I think it's very cute, and see what happens. Friendship has to prevail. So I'm looking forward to see what's going on with this. My next choice is A Hard Times by Charles Dickens, and I got this version very cheap, about 350, because my nice penguin version that I have in the back, I do not like to write on them. So I've been wanting to reread this novel in particular. I want to take one novel at a time and reread it. But as I do it, I decided just to kind of target a very low cost edition, so then I can make all my scribbles and my highlightings and all my kind of stuff, so I can enjoy the story. I love hard times, so yeah, I mean, very nice to write on it. Next choice is Hell House. This is a horror paranormal story. This book was written in 1971 by Richard Matheson, and I really like it before because, I mean, first of all, it's the same writer that wrote I Am Legend, and I really enjoyed the story and the movie. It is my understanding that this also was made into a movie. I have not seen it, so I cannot vouch for that. But I already started reading, if you notice. For my bookmark, I am in page 51 at the moment, and it's very spooky, it's very intriguing, it's a very visual when it describes the fog and the acrid smell and the enclosedness of the house. You really feel it. So I love it. This is supposed to be a group of individuals that are brought forward by the owner of the mansion, not the original owner, because that person passed away and no one knows where he's buried. But he wants to discover if paranormal activity is real or if it can be explained in the spiritual realm. So that's why all these individuals are here together. We don't know if they're going to be end up being dead or schizophrenic, but love it so far. Next one is The Chestnut Man, And I have the ebook and I have the audiobook. I finished the ebook about 2 weeks ago. Loved the story, fell in love with the writing, how concise it is, the cliffhangers, the writing style, because it's grouped in very small chapters. So even though this is a 500-page book, it's very enticing. You just want to know more and more and more. This is a serial killer that seems to have an obsession with a government individual, a woman that holds a position within the government. And as we come along, we start to, untangle all the casualties and the similarities, and that, they kind of knew each other at some point. So yeah, I mean, this is a huge resentment gone wrong. So, love it so far. Wanted to have it in my collection, and that's why I bought it. Next one is The Strangers by Margaret Haddix. And I bought this because this is meant to be inspired by The Wrinkle in Time by Madeline Engel, which I have here in my collection. And I love it. It seems to be that certain children or a certain group of individuals are found to have the same names and last names, but when a series of casualties start happening around, I don't know if it's the town or the country, their mother disappears in a very mysterious trip. So, if you are acquainted with A Wrinkle in Time, the two siblings are desperate looking for their father. They come in contact with these magnificent beings that take them into a outer space journey. They find their father, but they also find themselves in kind of a dystopian society where nothing makes sense and your judgment is taken away from you. So you no longer can decide what's wrong or what's right or what is the best decision for yourself. This seems to be following along those lines, so I thought it was very interesting, so I wanted to read it. Next one is Skander and the Phantom Rider. This was my favorite book, Skander in the Unicorn. I think it was released last year or towards the end of 2021. It was one of the best books in middle grade, and I loved it. The names of the unicorns are hilarious. The how concise and well paced the story is, all the twist with the characters, and at the end, the the kind of revelation of the relationship of the unicorn thief with Skander and his family was completely mind-blowing. I was really waiting for the sequel, so this is the sequel. I got it, and when I purchased it, I also got a couple of freebies. I got, oh, they gave me a poster, and they gave me this little pamphlet where you answer a couple of questions once you finish reading the book. So I would say this story is very family friendly, is extremely cute and adorable. And if you love unicorns, this is something that you can read, your siblings can read, your children can read. It's just adorable. Very well worth your time. My next pick was Goodbye Paris, and this is by Anstey Harris. This is a very lovely story of a woman that has for numerous years a shop in Paris, a musical shop, and this is related to classical instruments. And something happens with her partner, and she finds herself alone. She struggles a lot with grief and also trying to keep up with the business. So her friends try to help her, And I thought it was very interesting, finding yourself after a traumatic event in your life and a new beginning. So I just wanted to have it. Next one is The Garden House by Marcia Willett. This is a story that I also wanted to read, but I picked this book not much because of the story or the plot, but because of the cover. The cover is watercolor and it's just beautiful. Um, and this is about a daughter that inherits her dad's house after he passes away. She has a certain ideas of what her father was and their relationship, but after she comes in and then she establish relationships with other family members, her stepbrother and so forth, she discovers that there was really much more than what she thought her father was, and the whole world that he had, that she had no idea. So she starts discovering secrets and things like that. So you know, it's a contemporary family um, story and the struggles that happens with, again, death and taking over, continuing one's life. So I love those stories. So let's see what happens. And I also got the fourth and last installment in the Carlos Rezafon series, The Cemetery of the Forgotten Books, and this is the Labyrinth of the Spirits. I really picked this up because I have the other three books, but somehow I never finished the series, and I just realized that out of all the stories, probably the first one, which was my favorite, and this one are the ones that got my attention the most. So I said, you know what, let me finish the series because it's just adorable. Carlos Rizafon was definitely one of my favorite writers, and I said was because he's no longer with us, and it is definitely a pen that I profoundly miss. So I owed to his talent to finish the series, and that's it. And last but not least, I got a children's book, and this is called a There's a Ghost in This House by Oliver Jeffers. And I really, really love this story. It is so cute. I mean, look at the end papers, and I love ghosts and paranormal and spooky things, and the illustrations are to die for. I mean, look at this. And the story starts, and it says, "Hello, come in." And she opens the door, and then she says, "And welcome. I haven't had any visitors quite a while." And then she's here in her house and she's welcoming you, and then you see that there's a little ghost in the stairs just looking at her. And then she continues and says, "Perhaps you could help me." And then he says, "You see, hmm, I haven't heard. I have heard there's a ghost in this house." And then she's looking for them, and he says, "But I haven't found one. I'm not even sure what a ghost looks like." And here it is. She's just looking for a ghost. And then as you pass the transparency into her picture, then you see the ghost staring. It's just, it's adorable. It's to die for. I needed to have it in my collection. I love this kind of books. The illustrations are just very nice. Very, very nice. And this was just the end of my book haul. I hope you enjoyed and you stayed until the end and you saw all my picks. Let me know if any of my picks, intrigued you enough so you can also purchase them, or if I am late to the game and you already have them in your collection. I hope you have a very great day. You enjoy the rest of your week. And until our next installment, take care. Bye bye.